Hi, my name is Tom DuPont. I'm with CodeSmith Tools, and today I'm going to talk to you briefly about mailboxes inside of our new product, CodeSmith Insight. The primary goal of CodeSmith Insight is to unite different forms of communication, and email is a crucial medium in which users communicate with us. This is why Insight is capable of both importing and sending email, and why Insight includes a complete email client built into its web UI. Insight's email capabilities are all controlled by configuring and using mailboxes inside of the system. And that's what this video is going to talk about. We're going to very quickly configure a mailbox, and then we're going to receive an email with it, as well as send an email. So let's get started. Okay, so here we have a brand new instance of Insight that I'm logging into for the first time. So the first thing we want to do is create a mailbox. So we could come into our Getting Started wizard, click Add Mailbox, and use the wizard from here. Or we could go down to the Settings tab, go to Mailboxes in here, and then from here we can do the same thing. We can add a mailbox using the wizard or manually. So let's use the wizard. And the wizard's very easy to use. You'll have to fill out a few basic things, and then it'll try to do the rest of the work for you. So I'm going to enter one of my personal email addresses. Oops, hit cap lock there. So now all I've done here is named this mailbox and entered my email address and password. Now when we click Next, Insight is automatically going to discover the best settings for that mailbox, as well as test it and see that it's a valid mailbox. So here it figured out that it was Gmail, it made a test connection, and everything has succeeded. So I could just click Finish, and it would be that easy to add the mailbox. But I want to go look at some of the details for a moment. So we're going to click on the Mailbox Editor, and that's going to pull up our Mailbox Editor pane. So inside of here we have 4 tabs. Here in the General tab we can see we've have a name for the mailbox and a description for it, whether or not it's active or default. And then we also have system options down here, whether or not we want to have an auto reply template. Now if I were to select one of these templates, that means that whenever I receive an email, or I'm sorry, Insight receives an email that is addressed to this email address, it is going to automatically reply using one of these template responses. Now we don't want to do that in this case, so I'm just going to say no. And here we have our poll interval, because Insight actually polls mailboxes in order to pull data in. So just for example here, I'm going to set this to 1 hour. So we're going to poll extremely infrequently. Now let's look at the other tabs really quick. We have the Email tab, and this is where all the configuration and technical details of your email account are. So here we know we're using Gmail, and we have the server name and the ports. We can choose whether or not we're doing IMAP or POP3, etc. And below we have the SMTP settings. So again, all the technical stuff is in here. Now we have presets for Gmail and Live Mail, and of course that is assuming that you didn't use the wizard, which tried to detect all those settings for you. So you could manually alter these if you wanted to. Next we have the Case tab, and the Case tab is going to determine the settings for cases that are created by emails. Whenever an email enters Insight, it immediately gets converted into a case. And that's all that is inside of Insight. There are cases, so crash reports and emails and feature requests, these are all just cases. So here you can control the settings of these. So whenever this email address receives an email, I could assign it to a particular project, which this instance has none currently. I could set the type. By default, emails are usually considered inquiries. And then I could also add custom fields or custom tags to a case being created from this. So let's go ahead and do that. Whenever we receive an email from here, we'll tag it with Gmail, so we know it came in through a Gmail account. And then the last tab here is Signature. And every mailbox has a signature on it, and these are using our macros to populate them, which means that whenever you send an email from this mailbox, it's going to auto-populate using this particular signature, and it's going to fill in these variables dynamically, which means that if I were logged in, my name is Tom, then it's going to say thank you, and it's going to sign the name Tom. Of course, we have a whole lot of these macros. You can do the snippet variables icon here. You could see all the different ones. We could put in, case IDs and URLs and date times, etc. But I'm just going to leave this one nice and simple and just say thank you. Also here, one last thing to mention is that this is our branding text. Now, if you have a free account, you will not be able to edit this. All emails going out of the system will say powered by CodeSmith Insight. But if you're using a paid account, you can brand emails however you want. And this is something that will get appended after the signature. But again, we'll see that in action in a moment. So now that we've talked about everything you can configure for the mailboxes, notice we could save, or again, we could do another test, and this is going to confirm that all those settings inside of the Email tab work. And sure enough, we have a successful test to the mailbox, and we can see all those logs. But that's not what we're concerned with. We've now created a mailbox using the wizard. We've looked at it and all the advanced settings using the editor. So let's save this. And voila, we have created our mailbox. So now that we have created this mailbox inside of Insight and configured it, let's go over to another email address and let's send an email to this email address and see if Insight imports it. So here I have my CodeSmith Tools email open, and I'm sending an email to Stray919, which is the mailbox we just configured. And it's just going to say, hello world, is anyone there? So let's go ahead and send that. So that has been sent. Now in another browser I have open that particular email account, and I can see that the Stray919 at Gmail has received that email and that it's sitting here waiting inside of the inbox. So if I go back to Insight, this mailbox is going to be polling the Stray919 account every 1 hour. But in this case I don't want to wait an hour, so I'm going to manually click Check Mailbox. And that's going to queue up a job to check the mailbox as soon as possible. Now if we go into our logs view here in the administrator panel, we can see that just a moment ago Insight actually processed the mailbox because I told it to. And it had one succeeded, which means it imported one case, and that case that got imported was then indexed. So we can tell from our logs that that email has been received from the Stray919 mailbox. So if we go to Inbox and we refresh, sure enough, there's the case I just sent in. Hello, is anyone there? And of course our embedded image is still attached. So that's how easy it is to receive emails with Insight. It'll automatically poll, or we can tell it to poll at a more immediate basis by manually queuing that job, and then we can look in our logs to see whether or not things have happened. But the bottom line is Insight will pull those emails from the other email account and create cases from them that we can view. So now that we've received an email, let's go ahead and reply and let's send an email. So again, CodeSmith Insight has a complete email client built into the UI. So we can say, yes, I am here. And we got an emoticon, so let's add another one. Stick our tongue out. Now, again, this that signature we saw earlier got populated here. My full name was applied to the signature automatically. And if we had multiple mailboxes and we switched between them here, the signature would automatically be updated for us. So that's kind of cool. Each mailbox's unique signature will auto-update for you. Again, we're seeing that we have embedded images here, and we could add attachments or tags or anything else we want to do. Oh, and notice that this case did get tagged with Gmail like we said it should. But again, all those details aside, we want to reply. Here's our reply. Let's send that. So the email has been sent. Now let's go check on that. Let's go back into our settings panel here that we can see as administrators, and let's look at the email queue. The email queue is going to tell us all the emails that are queued up in the system that need to be sent. So here we can see the outbound email we just wanted to send. We're sending it from Stray919, that is our mailbox we've configured. We're sending it back to T. DuPont, which is who sent in the original email. And we can see when this was last attempted. We can see that it has now been processed, so it should already be sent. We can see the number of retries, had it failed, etc. So we can see outbound email inside the email queue and check the progress on those. So if we step over here, and I refresh that search, sure enough we got our response. Here I am. So that is how CodeSmith Insight sends outbound email through your configured mailboxes. So that concludes this video over mailboxes in CodeSmith Insight. We saw how easy it is to configure a mailbox using the wizard, or how we can go advanced and manually create things by using the editor. We saw how receiving an email comes in through another mailbox that is polled, and then we respond to that email, so we saw how to send an email using the client and check the status of that inside of the email queue. So I hope you found this video to be both helpful and informative. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for other videos, please visit us at CodeSmithInsight.com. My name is Tom DuPont. Thank you very much for using Insight.